This is the Boog75, Meletrix's novel advancement in the custom mechanical keyboard space. Before this news was released by Meletrix, we had the Zooms, 65, TKL, 65V2, 75, and etc. Then they decided to put their hands on the gaming keyboard space and market it to the community, specifically hobbyists. Before everything else, I do want to emphasize that all thoughts and opinions in this video are my own, despite Meletrix sending this keyboard in for review. Surely the Boog75 isn't the first to utilize magnetic switches. We have the popular Wooting brand, followed by Drunktier. Then came Akko integrating the same tech in their Mod 007 PC series. Many have tried to follow as well, but acoustically speaking, eventually fell short of captivating the custom community's hearts. And yes, sure, you can buy a Wooting, but in order for it to sound good, you either have to modify it a lot or get an aluminum case for the same price you bought the keyboard for. Not too thrifty. The Boog75 answers this. It revolves around the same design of their Zoom 75, an aluminum case, the same exterior design approach, mounting systems, all down to its weight. It also comes with these Thockiest 37B switches and Wuche Studio PPT keycaps. All this for just $219.99. Okay, so I've been preaching about its acoustics and how it's the better sounding keyboard amongst its competitors. But don't just take my word for it. Here's the sound test for the Boog75 straight out of the box. I was pretty surprised myself when I first unboxed this, and in all honesty I didn't read too much about it until I got the unit itself. I've actually mistaken it at first to be made of plastics since they advertised it pre-built. Obviously, I was wrong. The sound profile is very thocky, not too loud, not too silent either, just audible enough to be satisfying as it is. Feel-wise, if you're someone who likes a stiff typing experience, this keyboard will be a delight to type on. Although being in a gasket-mounted system, you don't exactly feel the bounce as found with other gasket-mount keyboards. The aluminum plate the board comes with also contributes highly to the typing feel. Don't be lured away by this though, as the combo between the config of the board and the switches making the typing feel somewhat unique. Before moving forward, let me go over a quick teardown on this keyboard to showcase its internals. Let's start by removing the Wuche Studio PPT keycaps, then after the Gatoron switches. These surprisingly gave me a challenge to pull out. That's why I was switching between several switch pullers to help me finish the deed. Then, like your usual Zoom 75 build, I had to flip it over, remove the rubber feet, unscrew the 4 screws holding the keyboard together, and just then we are met with the insides of the Boog. Putting aside the top case and flipping the PCB over, there was this very sticky Poron foam attached to the back of it. Had to remove it and then unplug the JST cable to give me more freedom in working around the PCB assembly. Here's the part I underestimated. The whole thing had a heck of a lot of screws holding it together. It might be this reason as to why the keyboard barely had any flex, because the PCB couldn't do so, with it being tied to the aluminum plate. Once I had everything disassembled, I then laid it out so we can see what comes in the whole package of the Boog75. Starting with the PCB. As you can see, there's a gunk of lube pulled up at the switch areas, but I doubt this will cause any problems in the future. Then we can see a block of foam where the internal weight's supposed to sit. Here's the top case with the blockers, and here's the aluminum plate with a gasket system ultimately like the previous versions of Meletrix's keyboards. Now that's pretty much what's underneath the Boog75. I'm not entirely invested in Hall effect switches. In fact, this is my first time trying a gaming keyboard, just like most of the keyboard community who just uses their custom keyboards for gaming. And of course, I made use of it for what it's made for. The most significant thing I noticed right away was the difference with strafing. Moving across these FPS games felt more snappy and responsive, and further confirmed that it did give me an advantage, and not just placebo. I spent a grueling amount of time comparing the Boog75 with my previous keyboard on different games. Initially, it was worse than I hoped it to be, but after a while, when I got the hang of it, shoulder peaking, counter strafing, and overall movement became evidently easier. When I went back to play on my old keyboard, it wasn't as snappy and responsive as I've gotten used to. Definitely an advantage to make the most out of. I also use this keyboard for work, typing review scripts, captions, subtitles for videos, and more. But I found myself pressing unwanted keys due to the switches having a very fast activation point out of the box. This is where the software would come in, but right now, at the time of this video's release, you can only customize the LEDs. Additional features such as to adjust my only gripes that I have with this keyboard will come on at a later date. Okay, wait. It's the 5th of February and I checked the software again to confirm, and Meletrix released all the features to tweak the Boog75. Try to ignore what I said just now. On the other hand, if you already have a Zoom 75, you can buy the Boog75 HE module, which consists of the PCB, AIO3 daughter board, aluminum plate, and slap it on your keyboard and call it a day. To sum everything up, it's definitely a value-packed keyboard for what it is. If you're into FPS games and you're looking to get a new keyboard for yourself this 2024, go to Meletrix's website in the description and choose between the two colors they have the Boog75 on. You will not be disappointed. That'll be it for this video. Please consider subscribing and leaving a comment or even a like. Thanks for watching.